All right, we are live with episode 4 of the Salt Mine. Okay, Boomer. The Salt Mine is a Malifaux podcast. I'm your host, or Malifaux stream. My name is Nathan Hoyle. I am a Malifaux player. I play mostly Guild and Neverborn. And what we do on the stream is basically go through a recent game I've had. I'll give you the chance to try to guess at what the schemes my opponent might be running, see what I'm doing, tell me what I'm doing wrong, tell me what I'm doing right. And basically just have a good chance to talk about some Malifaux. I love seeing people in the chat. It's good to see you, John. Looks like you're our lone soldier this time, but hopefully it'll pick up as time goes on. So let's go into the episode. All right, so tonight we have, for strats and schemes, we had a game of Corner Symbols of Authority. The schemes were Assassinate, Sabotage, Martyrs, Leave Your Mark, and Research Mission. We were looking at the battlefield. This was a Vassal game, which is, I think this is the first Vassal game I've done for the stream, but that was what I was able to get in this week because we played a Halloween special strat at my club this week, so I wasn't able to get in a full game there. But I did have a Vassal game with Landon of Schemes and Stones fame. So, what we ended up playing on this battlefield here, you can see a lot of blocking terrain, lots of forests to hide in. So, and then I chose Sonnia. My opponent chose Yanlo. The crews are as follows. I have a Purifying Flame, Fiona with Leadline Coat, a Guardian, a Valerian Queller, the Sanctioned Spellcaster, and the Steward. My opponent with Yanlo had the Soul Porter, Gokudo, Chiaki, Izamu, Manos, Sun Quan, and Yin. I can tell you right now that Sun Quan Izamu combination is very difficult to deal with. So, scheme selection. A couple things to talk about there. I picked my crew before I even looked at the schemes and strats, and that's not a good idea. It's especially not a good idea to pick a very slow, kind of gunliney crew into a very beady, or into a very runny scheme set. So, I had to work with what I had. Leave Your Mark. I figured I could probably control the middle, so I decided to go for that. I figured that if I made the Purifying Flame a martyr, I could run him across the board. He'd have to kill it, or I'd get his markers. So I figured that was a good way to get some points, one way or another. I didn't see this being a high-scoring game for me, so my real hope was to keep it at the mid-range and make it a low-scoring game for my opponent as well. I had the Sanctioned Spellcaster as kind of a backup to run the strat. He gets pretty quick when you're running him next to the Queller because the Queller has the ability to use Soul Stones. I don't like Sabotage in this. I'm too slow for that one. So doing Martyrs and Leave Your Mark. Trying to figure out his schemes. So I'm going to go back to his crew for a second just so you all can see it. With the crew that he was bringing, I really thought everything but Research Mission was on the table. I haven't seen yet where someone takes a Research Mission without taking something that keys it off. Because of that, I assumed he didn't have Research Mission. I even mentioned that to him. So if he had it, it would have really been a shock to me. Sabotage, I was going to try to prevent. I don't have Ski Marker Hate in this crew, but I don't find it to be that useful because my opponents oftentimes will drop it with their last action. So I didn't really have the ability to prevent that. I figured he might have Martyrs, so I needed to keep in mind what models he could have Martyrs on. I didn't take the time to look and see how Martyrs would work with the Reliquaries and then bringing models back. As I said there, I'm sure I wouldn't like it. That was kind of my read on it before I got started. Assassinate felt like it certainly could happen. Yanlo can do that, but he also can pretty easily outspeed me or control me. So I saw a lot of different options for him. All right, so deployment. If you look on the board here, he's up in this corner. Now at first, I deployed using the larger arc, and he was kind enough right before we started to say, "Oh wait, that's all right. Let me redeploy and not just shove them backwards." When I did that, I had set up Sonnia over here to go up these wooden planks, but with the extra distance, I didn't like that option. A 10-inch throw would have put her about right here, and it just would have been a lot harder to see the rest of the board from there than she would have if I could get her further up board. Because of that, when I deployed, it became more of a standard corner deployment. Hey, how's it going there? So I put up over here the Sanction Spellcaster and the Queller. My hope was I could keep them protected well enough and then bring them up and around to get markers. Really, having to start in severe terrain was a big hurt to that. I had them, again, up here to start, and that looked like a much more doable thing before I realized I was being an idiot. My opponent, pretty standard setup, was going to get everything pushed forward. Manos, I don't know how I didn't realize Manos had leap, but as soon as he started moving up the board with that leap, I realized I was in a lot more trouble than I would have been otherwise. So knowing that, we started the game. So end of turn one, what ended up happening was, as I said, he leaps and moves forward, gets up to there. Yin with the push and Incorp gets up to there, and I'm going to be giving up the strat points. So I think, oh gosh, I have to make it back on the schemes. I was a little defeatist even at that point. I've been hearing a lot about how good Yan Lo was, and I had probably unfairly to myself decided it was hopeless before I started. I put a lot of damage and a lot of burning on Izamu turn one. I had learned it. I used Bring It to bring him forward, and then just hammered him with Sonnia. I had hoped he would pop him back to Sun Quan to get that healing going, so I could blast onto both of them, but he didn't do that yet. That was bad for me. I sent the steward over to try to slow down the scheme marker pickups. Even if you could prevent 1 point of it, I was going to feel a lot better than I would otherwise. And I was cautious with the Purifying Flame because I didn't want Yan Lo to kill him turn one. The Gokudo, so always useful in a Yan Lo game to watch where the Gokudo is going, because that's going to be where something's coming back. He's all the way up there. I can't believe how fast he gets moving once he has a reliquary on him. Shiaki went ahead and put his reliquary on him early, so he was moving. So trying to figure out what he had for schemes. I thought sabotage. If he had sabotage, I was in trouble. I was going to really struggle to defend that with any seriousness. He didn't move like he had assassinate. Now again, he's fast enough. I could be wrong, but I didn't think at that time he had it. I was playing for martyrs and leave your mark because I wasn't going to stop sabotage either way, and I could at least keep martyrs in mind. So turn two. What ended up happening, if you look at the board here, Sun Quan actually died up from fire, but we hadn't taken him off the board while I took the picture. Gokudo moved up there to give me a new Izamu. I was actually able to, with Sonnia and Fiona, put enough damage on both Izamu and Sun Quan, they would both die. Getting Sun Quan out of the game was a big goal for me. But it was looking bad at that point. As you can see, Manos grabbed the first marker down here. We've got Yin engaging and already damaged the steward. I probably should have sent someone over to try to kill injured Yin, but the Guardian wasn't going to be good at it because his willpower is so low, and I wanted Fiona to stay with Sonnia. He used Yan Lo to kill my Sanctioned Spellcaster. The Queller, knowing he's not a scheme runner himself, just started throwing some shots at Yan Lo. I didn't realize he heals. I kind of regret that, but I couldn't believe how fast the Gokudo came all the way down here. The Purifying Flame, I think when it wasn't clear that I was going to kill Izami yet or not. Moved up there, hoping I honestly hoped he would kill him so I could get the hidden martyr's point, but that really wasn't a possibility. So, John, you're saying you would have taken Assassinate because you would be worried about Sonnia. Now, Sonnia did have Lead Line Coat and 2 Protect models there, so I thought I had guarded against that pretty well. There was never a real serious move on Sonnia, to be honest. So I wasn't worried about Assassinate at that point. Let's see, is there anything else going on that turn that was important? I think that was it. So looking at, again, talking about his schemes, we've got, I think he has Sabotage. I think it's probably going to be up on that top edge where he's killing off my minions. It would make a lot of sense if you look. There are a lot of good options here to throw the markers down around, and it wouldn't be hard for him to do. The other point, again, I don't think it's Leave Your Mark. He's not pushing the middle like I would have expected for Leave Your Mark. Hey, that's actually my opponent Landon that's on there. So if any insights he has to the game, I truly would appreciate. So again, looking at, we were just at the end of turn 2, Landon. I was just saying how I thought at that point you had Leave Your Mark around probably this terrain up here. And then I thought you might have Martyrs or Assassinate. I didn't think you had Leave Your Mark because you hadn't really pushed to the middle yet, and it felt like you'd almost given me that space. That being said, let's move to the next turn. Oh, that's Alec. I don't know why I didn't put that together. Usually a little bit of dyslexia goes a long way for me, but this time it didn't help me out. All right, turn 3. Looking at turn 3, and I lost my pen. Give me a second. Get my pen back. We've got a situation with Izamu kind of right in the middle of my business here. Yanlo's killed off the Queller. The new Summon Gokudo, which has come up here. He actually finished the Queller. Yanlo started the process and summoned Izamu. I've gotten the flame up to threaten the symbols for 4 and 5, but oh well, it ain't gonna catch me up now. Yin was able to finish off the Steward and get that marker here. That does make sense, Landon. He's saying that he considered that option, but he felt like that was too close a spot for where I would be deploying from. And that makes sense. I know that Sabotage can be tricky if the person isn't leaving their deployment zone more than it is. I'm surprised though, because I would have thought that the other ones would have been harder for that. But again, you certainly have shown me wrong. At that point, he's got his second strap point. He's got Leave Your Mark because he put one down right on the middle. I don't know where my brain was. I moved Sonnia up to here and put a Leave Your Mark token there. I think he could have picked up my marker anyways, but it would have certainly helped to block that. But having that there, about the dumbest thing I could do. I got Goku down to hard to kill. But the stuff I did to try to do so just wasn't worthwhile. I should have used a light activation first and then tried to do that later. All right, so let's clean up a little bit, and again, at the end of that turn, I'm sure it's not Assassinate. I'm looking at the board. He's claimed Leave Your Mark, and so is it going to be Sabotage? Probably. I probably, again, should have at that point, instead of taking Sonnia up there to drop that marker, I probably should have taken her over here to defend my last marker and try to stop sabotage. But I was honestly a little univisioned at that point, a little tilted, so I wasn't doing as well as I should have on those. But he's closing in on all sides. Things are going down, and it's not looking good. Excuse me. So going on to turn 4, a couple things happened in turn 4. One of the big ones is Zamu had 2 focus from when he was Gokudo. I think this is when he got that focus. That meant that with a couple of suits for the armor piercing, killing the Guardian was just no problem. So he went ahead and took the Guardian out. I don't think the Gokudo's in the right spot. One of the things that happened was once I got a little tilted, I forgot to take pictures of the board. So this is a recreation. I think the Gokudo was probably somewhere else at that point, but I couldn't tell you where. The Flame grabbed the marker and then spent my high cards not getting killed by the Soul Porter. Yin dropped a marker and started moving to try to do the rest of the sabotage. He used Yan Lo to grab this marker here. And this is where that last turn's bad ski marker placement hurt me. So I pushed up Fiona, and right about where Sonnia is now is where there was a ski marker. I didn't have that marker down yet. That must have been from the recreation from turn 5. So that marker's not there. There's one over here, and I'm just not dropping any, and I'm not getting the scheme at that point because Fiona can't drop the scheme marker because she's within 3 of the worthless scheme marker I dropped. Again, read your schemes carefully. Don't make the mistakes I do. Don't mix up claim jump and leave your mark. It certainly wouldn't have won me the game, but it may have prevented me, helped my diff some and made it feel a little less embarrassing. So, Jim's in the chat. Good to see you, Jim. So at the end of 4, he's dropped that scheme. He hasn't declared a scheme yet. But it seems like it's got to be sabotage. What am I going to do about it? My guys aren't really in a spot to prevent it. So he's got those other points locked up. There's not really a lot of prevention there. Going into turn 5, I'm able to get the other strap point, get the Purifying Flame away from the Soul Porter. Other than that, Yan Lo moves up, and I don't remember if he ate my ski marker or dropped a ski marker to stop me from getting the leave your mark point, but he had plenty of movement to do it. When you're incorporeal, it becomes a lot easier to move around the board. Fiona ends up not engaged with anyone because she and almost dead, so I'm not able to get the second point of martyrs either. And second ski marker gets dropped around here. He picks up this marker. It ends up 6-2. Oh, messed that up. All right, as I said, 6-2. Landon wins. A very good win by Landon. I was quite simply outplayed. Now, how did I do? My list, I had 10 stones. Bad decision. I used them all, but I used them on dumb things because why not? Taking that list without looking at the schemes was really dumb. I can get away with it sometimes in more casual games. And Landon said he hadn't played since the last time we played when he also, I think he only beat me by 1 that time, but it felt like it was never a risk for him. And that was months ago. So he hasn't been getting a lot of games in, but he still took me to the cleaners on this one. Unhappy with my play. I didn't really plan out my turns well to take advantage of burning with Sonnia to try to turn things into thralls. I didn't really think about my schemes. I didn't read my schemes. Just a lot of kind of sloppy play. I could blame it on it being a Monday night, but honestly, I gotta be a little smart about my play, and that just wasn't happening that game. So my predictions, they were okay. I should have predicting them but not acting on them isn't. There's no point in that. So I really, if I'm going to predict schemes, I have to be smarter about it. How was the chats? I think I had John's prediction of assassinate because he would be going after Sonnia, but I think that was more just based on the crews, not on what was happening on the board. So I really can't ding him for that. Salt of the week. All right, so I don't have a recording this week, but I have my own salt, so I can bring that out good. As you can see here, we've got a meme just to display my feelings about the creation of Jan Lo at this point. So the salt, I gotta be honest, Jan Lo just feels like a lot. There were multiple times where I felt like my opponent was saying, oh, and now this model heals 8, or this model heals 9. And that just feels really not like a little too much. And I can't imagine it would have gotten through in a lot of other factions. I know that for Rezzers there is a certain amount of we get hit more, so we need to heal more. But that crew just does an absolute ton. And unless you can get into Jan Lo turn 1 before he gets concealment on himself, I don't know what exactly the strategy is to take care of him. I'd love to play against him more because I gotta learn it somehow, but whew, there's just a lot there. And while I'm on that salt, I think Sun Quan, another just place when you hurt them and then he heals anytime you place near him, is just again, just a lot of things tend to cascade in that crew, and it's not something that I really like. Honestly, though, it was a fun game. As I was talking with Landon about a little bit earlier, I was a little bit salty that game, but there are a lot of other crews that I feel much worse about. I gotta be honest, I didn't realize till I looked more carefully at Manus' card today. I thought he had Demise Eternal, and so I didn't bother going after him. I think I would feel differently about Manos if I didn't think he had that as well. I must have mixed it up with his Reliquary or something, but I was just like, that is an insane model. And it wouldn't have been so bad if I had sent Sonnia in that direction. Izamu probably could have helped with Leave Your Mark at that point, and probably would have stopped me from being Leave Your Mark. But Sonnia could have done some pretty good work against the 2 models over there, I think. So special thanks tonight to my opponent Landon. He was a gentleman of a game. He put up with a lot of my mistakes. I don't want to say my brain was tired, but I've never tried to set up my corner deployment outside of the 12 inches before, and I don't know where my brain was on that. And I'm going to pretend like that was a sign that I wasn't all there. The proprietors of my gaming club, the Historic Haven, keeping my Malifaux dreams alive, and getting resin printers so I can try to do cool model creation and things like that in the future. My incredibly patient wife, who looked at me getting ready to stream tonight and helped me get up and get ready to get this going. I really do appreciate it. If you want to talk more Malifaux, check out the Swamp Fiends Discord or the Guild Facebook chat. I'm in there, and we talk a lot of stuff. You could have learned today, what does Sam Hopkins look like with a gup face? And you don't want to miss that. That's just the good stuff. Other quality foam media. Check out Third Floor Wars, The Other Coast, Swamp Fiends, Steam Powered Scoundrels, Rage Quit Wires, Steams and Stones, Capital City Crew, Harlefaux, or Gaming with the Salty Slacker. We have a ton of good podcasts out there, and they're all really good. YouTube right now is just full of really good creators creating good Malifaux content. I haven't seen this much content from Malifaux all going at once in a long time. I love to see it, and I hope to see more. Spread the word. You know someone that would enjoy getting in on the conversation here? Tell them about the stream. I'm not advertising outside of what I'm allowed to post on like chats and a weird place and the forums. So word of mouth really is the best way to improve the stream, improve the chat, really get a good time going. And I'd love to hear what you have to say. Next week, we are going to be starting next week at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, not 6:30. I've been talking with some people from other time zones and realized that 6:30 start was going to make it very hard for them to participate because of the time difference. Hopefully, a 7:30 start will make that a little easier for them. I hope that that doesn't mean I lose some of my East Coasters, but I have a feeling that 7:30 isn't too late for them too. My plan tonight is to, at 7:30, probably start a recording of this stream. Just to let people from the East Coast that do want to watch. I'm going to be in the chat, but I'm not going to be commenting over it. I'm just going to be playing the stream that we had previously. But if you want to be a part of that chat, see what other people are saying, you're certainly welcome to. It'll either be a good time or it'll be a waste, but being on the chat's not a hard thing, so I'm looking forward to it. Next week, 7:30. I'll see you all then. Take care, salt miners, and thank you so much again for watching.